Hello everyone, Ranjit this side. So in this video, we'll be discussing about some of the common functions that we use on the daily basis when it comes to, let's say, the business analyst or the data scientist. So those functions are count, minimum, and then we have max, top, and distinct. So let's go through them one by one. Let's connect to the server. So we are connecting it, and then we have here we have list of objects. So these are the databases that we created earlier, and then we have financial data. We will be using this database. So let's do a new query. And here, if you see, we have financial data as the default database over here. But sometimes it's better to check which database is selected over here, because most of the time it's the master database as a default database. But here right now it's selected as financial data. Okay, let's create a query which will have list of all the tables, or which will have all the columns from a particular table that we created earlier. Do over here. So this is the table that we created earlier, company by sector. So let's say select star from dbo dot company by sector, right? F5. So here, if you see, since I have used asterisk mark over here, it will give you all the columns that are available in this particular table. So if you see the columns, we have ticker, description, price, and the sector. See, here we have only somewhere around 4,710 records, which is okay to select all the records when we are doing the select query. But sometimes when you have millions of records in the table, then it's not recommended to have a or to select all the rows from the particular table. Let's say you do not want to see all the rows, you just want to see a couple of records from the table, right? So for that, we will use the top query, or let's say top function. So let's say right now, if you see, we have somewhere around 4,710 records over here, right? So I'm saying that I do not want to see 7,010 records, but I would like to see only top 10, top 10 records, right? So, and then if so here, if you see now, we have only the top 10 records. By default, it will show you only the top 10 records, since we have mentioned our top 10, but it's also ordered the default ordering, which is the ascending one. But sometimes if you would like to see the bottom 10 records, then you have to do is like order by, let's say, ticker, or let's say, yeah, order by ticker and then descending, right? And then it will show you the list of all the tables, or let's say all the rows in the descending order. One thing you have to notice over here, so if I'm not saying order by, right, so it will give you the ticker, but it's not in a proper order. The reason being, right now we have not created a primary key, which is more like a numerical column, which will have the numerical numbers. So right now we do not have that, but instead of that, we have maintained the ticker as the main column, but we will change it in the coming videos. Okay, so this is how you write the top 10. So top 10 syntax, or let's say the query will give you the top 10 records from the table. Now we will work on, or we will go through some of the aggregate functions. So aggregate functions include our count, minimum, maximum, and other couple of functions, right? So let's work on that. I will just comment this. So the first function that we will be working on is the count function. The following So let's say select, let's say sector. So we are saying sector and then count of the number of sectors that we have. Let's say we are giving an alias as, let's say, the number. So this will give you an error. The reason being, we have not added the aggregate function, right? So for that, we'll say group by sector. So now this will, so now if you run this query, it will give you all the sectors, right? And number of times it has been there in the database, or let's say in the table. Basically, it will give you the number of companies in each sector that we have. For an example, let's say if I run this query, so let me just remove it. So we have all these tickers within this sector. So what this query is doing, basically, this will give you the list of all the sectors and the corresponding number of companies, or let's say the tickers. So this is how it is, right? So instead of number, you can say the number of companies, right? Now let's see the maximum stock price in the table for a from a list of companies, right? So let's say select max, and then I will say I think, no, let me just check. So we have price, right? So I'm saying I need the price as max price from, see, it's not mandatory to write it as in the capital letter, but I just want to make sure that there is a, I mean, the query is seen very clearly, so that is the only reason. And then we have the, so this is the maximum price of out of all these tickers. So this is the maximum price, right? And now if you would like to see the maximum price of a particular, let's say, a ticker. So for that, what you can do from a ticker, and then here I'm saying group by ticker. Now this will give you the maximum price, or let's say it should not be let's run this, and then we have duplicates, because see, if you see, no, it's not a duplicate. Well, this the query is correct, but the logic is incorrect, because see, we do not have, let's say, multiple tickers, so we have a unique ticker. So it should not be the case. It should be something more of, let's say, we would like to see the price from each sector, which is the maximum price, right? So let's say price as well as the ticker. Otherwise, okay, let me show you first, and then you will understand what I meant to say. Sector, and then I'm saying it should be grouped by sector. Now, if I run this, now you will see from each sector, this is the maximum price of a stock, right? But what is the use of this query, or let's say this is the result, because we do not get to know much of information, right? So for that, what you can also do is ticker, and then you can copy this, and let's group by this as well. And now this will be more of better information, because it should be ticker. Okay, so now we have max stock price, and then we can also get to know the minimum stock price, right? So just copy, paste, and then here I would say minimum, and then here we can say it as minimum stock price. Let's say minimum price of stock from each sector. So this is what we have. So maximum price is 1100,448, and then the minimum price is 0.24. Now let's group by sector, right? So I'm saying group by sector, and then let's copy this, and then if we run this, now in each sector, this is the maximum price, and then this is the minimum price. So this can be a bit useful, like we did in the previous query. Syntax, or let's say a function which is called distinct. Basically, distinct will give you all the distinct the sectors. So let's say select sector, selects from sector from DBO. You don't need to write this like I'm writing, because there is another way, but I'll show you something later. So this is the list of all the sectors from each ticker that we have. But if you would like to know all the distinct sectors, like the unique ones, so sorry, there is a difference between unique and distinct, but this is a distinct sector. So if I say distinct sector, and then if I run this, so now you have all the distinct sectors that you can see in this particular table. So we have somewhere around 22 distinct sectors. So in simple terms, I would say this will reduce, or let's say the distinct will remove all the duplicate sectors, but it will not remove it from the table, but it will just show you as a query, or let's say a view, which will list down all the sectors without any duplicate records, right? This is one of the most frequently used, I would say, the function in the SQL. So we have distinct, we have minimum, maximum, and then group by, count again was something very frequently used. Then what we have average is a bit, I would not say that we use it very frequently, but yeah, average is something we can use. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to show you that how you should maybe if you do not want to write the table name all the time. So what you can do, you can just simply select here and then just drop. So this will be okay. You don't need to write the whole table name, and the same goes with the column name as well. So if you see, if you want to select the sector, you just drag and drop it over here, and then you can run this. So like I said, you don't need to write it all the time. And then in the previous video I also mentioned, if you don't want to write the same query and again, you can create a view, and then from that view you can call that query, right? So this view is very simple, so you don't need to create a view out of this. But sometimes when you have 3 or 4 tables, or let's say even 2 tables, and then you don't want to join the tables again and again to see the result, then you can create the view. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.